Good morning, boys and girls. This is Mr. Cook on today, Monday, March 15th, 2021, and today we're going to learn about time to the half hour with our analog clocks. So let's get started just to do a little quick checkup. So we're going to write the time on the digital clock down here below. So when we take a look at these clocks, we know that the minute hand is looking at the 12 and the hour hand is looking at the 8. We've been focusing on these ones here, boys and girls, pretty much this entire time to make sure that we know that this is just straight up 8 o'clock. Because the hour hand's pointing directly at the 8, and the minute hand is at the 12, so that means we have 0 minutes. Let's take a look at number 2 here. Same exact thing. Minute hand is on the 12, hour hand is on the 5, so we know that these are pretty straightforward. This one's going to be 5 o'clock. Now, this is where this is going to get a little tricky. So let's take a look at this clock really quick. We noticed here before that our minute hand was normally always on the 12, but now it's down here on the 6. And we also have, we also have our hour hand looking a little different. It's not pointed directly at a number anymore. It's in between the 10 and the 11. So this is where it's going to get a little funky. This is going to be called hour to the half hour. All right, time to the half hour on this one. So when we're actually looking at a clock here, boys and girls, we know that when we look at the minute hand, we have 0 minutes when we're up at the 12. Whenever we get it to the 1, so let's say that minute hand was pointed directly at the 1. Every time that one of these numbers goes by, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's actually going by 5 minutes. So it's actually going to look like this. So every time the minute hand gets to the 1, it's 5. Gets to 2, 10, 3, 15, and it keeps going around. 20, count up by 5 is 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. And remember, we don't say 60, it just goes right back to 0 because that's going to be the next hour. So when we have the minute hand down here directly at the 6, 30 minutes has gone by. So that means that if I were go back over here. If I were to write this down on a digital clock, I would know that I have 30 minutes that has gone by. Now we need to take a look at the hour hand because this is where it gets a little funky. It's in between the 10 and the 11 directly right here. Now, here's a little trick. When we were looking at the actual hour of the time, if this minute hand was all the way at the 12, it would have actually been at 10 o'clock. So this one is actually going to be 10:30 because if it's in between two numbers here, boys and girls, we always want to go back to the number that was there before. So if we're looking at these, remember it's in between two numbers, always go back because our clock's actually only going one direction. This is called clockwise. So you have to think about it. If these are in between these two numbers here, boys and girls, always go back to the number before because that's going to be the hour that we're working on. So let's practice this a little bit. So it says Cameron eats dinner at the time shown. Tell what time that she eats dinner and write the time. So we know that our minute hand is at half past because it's halfway on the clock. Now let's take a look. It's at the 6, so we know that we have 30 minutes that has passed. But our hour hand is in between the 6 and the 7. Now remember, you go to the one before. So if you're looking at the two numbers, go to the one that's before that one. So if we have 6 and 7, what comes before 7? The number 6. So that means we are at 6:30. Or we could say half past 6. Two ways of writing it. Half past 6 o'clock, or you can write it down like this, digital. 6:30. Just like that. Now let's actually practice drawing the clock on this one. So Darius starts to mow his yard at 8 o'clock. So actually I'm going to draw 8 o'clock really quick. Start at the middle, work my way up to the 12. That's my minute. When I go to do my hour hand, it points directly at the 8 but doesn't touch it quite yet. Cool. I'm doing my best here. Drawing clocks is kind of tough. So 8 o'clock right there. Okay. Now I know that my clock only goes in one direction. So I know that I'm going to have to move my clock hands going that way. So he says he spends 1 hour mowing his yard. Then he spends 30 minutes cleaning his garage. What time does he finish? Okay, so I know that I want to do the hour first. So that means if I do 1 hour, that means that minute hand goes around completely once. And the hour hand is going to move up once. That means my time would actually be 8 plus 1, adding 1 hour. We're looking at 9 o'clock here. Awesome. Okay, but we're not done yet because it says he spends 30 minutes cleaning a garage. So that means this minute hand is going to go halfway down to the 6, because that'll be 30 minutes and half past. But then this hour hand has to go halfway between the 9 and the 10. Now what I would do here, boys and girls, I would draw a little dot in between the 9 and 10 and try to draw a line directly to it. That's going to help you know that that's going to be halfway between the 9 and the 10. Little trick that Ms. Petrowski had taught me. So when we look at it, we have 9 and 10. It's in between the 9 and 10, so I know it's 9. And then I know that the minute hand is on the 6. We know that's 30 minutes that has gone by. So our time here, boys and girls, is 9:30. So an analog clock can show time to the half hour, and a half hour is 30 minutes, just like we talked about. It's jumping up 5 minutes every single time that we go here. So it is half past 4 o'clock here, because it's halfway between the 4 and the 5, or we can say that it's 4:30. All right, so boys and girls, this is what we got going on today. You guys are going to work on pages 601 to 604. You also have optional pages including pages 660 or 605 and 606 if you guys want to be awesome. But let's take a look at these last ones really quick because I want you guys to work really hard on these, all right? So let's write the time down below. It says half past on these right here. Now, take a look. It's in between the 10 and in between the 11. It's halfway between the 10 and the 11, so we say that this is half past 10. Because remember, you always want to go back with these clocks right there. Always go back to that time before, because that'll tell you which hour you're working on. And this last one here, take a look at the hour hand. We know that there's 30 minutes has gone past, so it's half past. And take a look at the hour hand. It's in between the 2 and the 3, so it's half past 2. Good job. All right, so boys and girls, if you have any questions, please reach out to your teachers today. But everyone else, good luck. Have fun.